Welcome to the show.
Welcome back to From Kitchen to C-Suite, the podcast where we bridge the gap between the line and the boardroom. I'm your host, Don. We are officially cruising through 2026, and if you've looked at a menu or a P&L statement lately, you know the status quo has been left in the rearview mirror. We've moved past the era of broad, better-for-you claims and entered a landscape where every calorie, every culture, and every carbon footprint is under the microscope. Today, we are breaking down the 2026 flavor forecast. We're diving into precision dining, how biometric data and hyper-personalization are moving from wearables straight onto the dinner plate. Functional fermentation, why the industry is moving beyond just gut health to use fermentation as a high-tech tool for savory sweet flavor depth and mood-boosting benefits. The era of transparency, in a year where proof not promises is the consumer mantra, we'll discuss how C-suite leaders are turning supply chain traceability into a competitive shield. Whether you're a chef curious about the next IT ingredient or an executive navigating the new EUDR compliance and ESG mandates, this episode is your roadmap for the year ahead. Let's get into the kitchen. To help you guide the conversation, here are the 2026 North Star concepts mentioned in the intro. Precision dining represents a sophisticated fusion of technology and biology, where business and culinary goals converge. Companies are now integrating AI with personal health data to power next-generation loyalty apps, moving beyond simple points toward true hyper-personalization. For the diner, this translates to menus that are no longer static. Instead, they are engineered around specific metabolic needs or performance goals, making the restaurant experience a functional extension of one's wellness routine. Functional fermentation has successfully transitioned from the health food aisle into the mainstream spotlight. Businesses are leveraging this shift by incorporating fermented elements into high-volume categories like sauces and craft cocktails to boost depth and complexity. Culturally, there is a newfound focus on joy-seeking profiles, moving past the medicinal reputation of fermented goods to celebrate indulgent, complex flavors, such as savory caramels and bright, botanical kombuchas. The era of transparency marks a turning point in how food is sourced and marketed. Supply chains have become smart, with 2026 serving as the benchmark year for total geolocation and digital sourcing proof, allowing businesses to verify every step of a product's journey. This transparency is reflected directly on the plate through shorter, cleaner ingredient lists. By emphasizing regional and local origins, brands are building deeper trust with a consumer base that demands to know exactly where their food comes from and what it contains. The global hospitality landscape in 2026 is undergoing a fundamental structural realignment, driven by the dual pressures of sticker shock at the point of sale and a profound post-pandemic shift toward health-conscious experiential consumption. The industry is decisively pivoting away from the monolithic entree and sides model. In its wake, a more agile, flavor-dense dining philosophy has emerged, one where the beverage program has evolved from a secondary accompaniment into the primary architectural pillar of the guest experience. The gastronomic pivot from volume to veracity. As consumer discretionary spending tightens, the traditional $40 entree is increasingly viewed as an archaic indulgence. In its place, the small plate has transitioned from a supplementary appetizer to the foundational core of the modern business model. The rise of micro-dining. Quantitative market analysis reveals that approximately 73% of consumers now prioritize establishments offering diversified small plate menus. This shift is catalyzed by flavor FOMO, a desire to navigate 6 distinct culinary profiles for $60, rather than committing to a singular protein. This trend is further accelerated by the ubiquity of GLP-1 medications, which have recalibrated metabolic appetites, leading diners to demand maximum sensory intensity in diminished portions. Chicken, the high art canvas. While bovine and seafood indices remain volatile, chicken has solidified its status as the king of proteins. However, the 2026 iteration is a sophisticated departure from the past. Executive chefs are applying Michelin-caliber techniques to cost-efficient cuts. Global syntheses, buttered chicken tacos, and Szechuan hot honey wings have moved from fusion experiments to standard menu fixtures. The Soivery frontier. A dominant trend this year is the Soivery profile, a complex orchestration of umami and sweetness, manifesting in maple miso glazes and cocoa spiced char. 2. The Great Refusal. Reclaiming the grain. We are currently witnessing a great refusal regarding ultra-processed foods, UPFs. Within the artisanal bakery segment, this cultural shift has sparked a renaissance of ancient, pre-industrial techniques. Sourdough's economic dominance. The sourdough market has reached a staggering $3.31 billion valuation. Discerning consumers are specifically demanding Type 1 sourdough, a slow-fermented, 3-ingredient medium, flour, water, salt, that rejects the additives of the late 20th century. Bioavailable wellness. With a 33% growth in the minimal ingredient sector, the focus has shifted to, quote, gut health. Long fermentation processes that degrade gluten and phytic acid are no longer niche requirements. They are the baseline for premium accessibility. Circular viticulture, innovation, is now measured by sustainability. Pioneering bakeries are adopting circular models, upcycling surplus bread into craft spirits, or utilizing spent brewery grains to fortify their sourdough loaves. 3. The liquid revolution, beverage-first growth. In 2026, the bar has ceased to be a mere waiting area. It is the primary engine of fiscal growth for casual and fine dining alike. The savory cocktail movement, the era of saccharin, fruit-forward mixology has concluded. Today's avant-garde menus feature savory and functional libations. Umami mixology, ingredients such as miso, seaweed, and fungi, alongside fat-washed spirits using sesame oil or brown butter, provide a depth of flavor previously reserved for the kitchen. Intentional acidity, house-made shrubs and kombuchas are being deployed to provide a sophisticated bite without the subsequent sugar crash. The third category, ascendancy. The most aggressive growth segment in the industry is the third category, premium liquids situated between traditional soft drinks and spirits. Nootropic infusions, high-end mocktails are now engineered with adaptogens to provide a functional buzz sans neurotoxicity. The tea-tail phenomenon, nitrogen-infused teas are seeing massive adoption, particularly among General Z. These offerings provide high-margin opportunities for operators and a highly aesthetic, Instagrammable experience for the modern patron. The 2026 diner is strategically seeking, quote, tiny pours and tasting menus. By institutionalizing half-sized cocktails and modular small plates, we are observing a 20% increase in total guest spend, as patrons feel financially and physically empowered to explore the breadth of the menu. The 2026 industry landscape is defined by a shift toward health-conscious, high-variety consumption and sophisticated flavor profiles. A major highlight is the dominance of small plates, which now command a 73% consumer preference rate. This trend is largely fueled by a variety-seeking public and the rising influence of GLP-1 lifestyles, which favor smaller, nutrient-dense portions over traditional large entrees. In the bakery sector, artisanal sourdough has cemented its status as a $3.31 billion market cap heavyweight. This growth is a direct response to the anti-ultra-processed food (UPF) movement, with consumers gravitating toward the gut health benefits and fermented simplicity of traditional bread making. The beverage industry is seeing a dual transformation through savory sips and functional alternatives. Savory sips represent a high-margin growth opportunity for operators, driven by a surge in umami-focused mixology that moves beyond sweet profiles. Simultaneously, functional non-alcoholic beverages have evolved into a $157 billion global powerhouse. No longer a niche market, this sector thrives on the sophisticated sobriety movement, offering drinkers complex, wellness-oriented alternatives to traditional spirits. As we wrap up today's exploration of the 2026 flavor forecast, it is clear that the culinary landscape has shifted from what's on the menu to what's in the molecule. We've transitioned from a world of broad seasonal trends into the sophisticated era of precision dining, where data-driven nutrition meets high-art gastronomy. Whether it's through the gut-brain benefits of functional fermentation or the radical accountability of the era of transparency, the modern leader must now master the science of the lab as fluently as the heat of the line. The bridge from the kitchen to the C-suite is no longer just built on flavor. It is built on trust, technology, and the relentless pursuit of wellness. As you integrate these insights into your operations, remember that the most successful brands of 2026 are those that treat every ingredient as a promise and every meal as a personalized experience. This podcast is supported by the generous commitment of our sponsors, and we extend a special thank you to HRB Universal. Their dedication to providing comprehensive resources and promoting excellence is key to empowering professionals across the culinary and hospitality industries. In a landscape defined by rapid change, HRB Universal remains the steady hand guiding the next generation of industry titans. We also want to acknowledge the Plate and Pour Collective Equity Partner Program. This initiative exemplifies a true commitment to fostering shared success and equitable growth within the food and beverage sector. By prioritizing access and mentorship, they are helping entrepreneurs build a more inclusive, diverse, and thriving future for all. The journey to the C-suite is fueled by innovation, relentless dedication, and the right network. We encourage you to engage with the resources and support offered by our sponsors. For details on how to connect with HRB Universal and the Plate and Pour Collective Equity Partner Program, visit hrbuni.com or simply search for HRB Universal online. We look forward to having you join us for our next episode of From Kitchen to C-Suite, where we will continue to pull back the curtain on the captivating topics designed to elevate your career and ignite your entrepreneurial drive. Don't miss a beat. Whether you're navigating the morning commute or strategizing from the home office, we've got you covered across every platform. Headphone on the go. Subscribe and listen via Riverside at fromkitchentalksuite.riverside.com or our home base, hrbuni.com. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, and Deezer. TV on the big screen? Level up your viewing experience by watching the From Kitchen to C-Suite podcast on the HRB TV network. Pro tip, if you use Roku or Fire TV, simply search for HRB TV Network to start streaming our high-definition masterclasses directly from your living room. Until our next broadcast, stay curious, continue to innovate, and never stop striving for superior achievement. We'll see you at the top.